everyone. Ignore sort of all of the art supplies that are creeping into the frame because I have added a few things to my art supplies collection, and yeah, I need another one of those tidy up sessions. So this little thing here is a few colors from Rembrandt that I have added, and I absolutely love them, so there'll be a separate video on that. Anyway, so today I'm finally ready to film the Viridian mixes video for you. Now, ages ago I started talking about adding this color to my palette. So I put it in a tube and then I squeezed it out and added it to my autumn palette. And this is the one that has been used the most. As you can see, it already hit the pan. And I love using it across different colors. Now, when I first discovered it, oh, by the way, this here, if you can see how stunning this is from that Rembrandt mixes. So yeah, so when I first discovered it, I read that Viridian is particularly well mixed with quinacridons to create lovely skin tones. So what I have done is I have gone through my quinacridons and kind of knew that anything within this sort of pink range would probably turn into purple, which it did. So these type of colors you can use in skin tones for not as a base of a skin tone like a peach or a brown, but more of sort of shadowing and sort of under the eye and all of that. However, obviously that's not a base tone. Whenever you start mixing Viridian with a gold, so a yellow, so to speak, we have quinacridone gold here, and we have, this is actually the same but just a different swatch, different intensity of it. So you should see more now. Yes, so basically there is quinacridone deep gold, quinacridone gold, which both of these are quinacridone golds, they're just different intensities. And you can see that sort of takes us to the greens, which again doesn't really work for skin tones. So these ones that I haven't mentioned are quinacridone violet, quinacridone magenta, and quinacridone pink. All of these are Daniel Smith, by the way, including the Viridian. So yeah, the one that sort of is close to a skin tone is quinacridone sienna, which is an orange, and that's the only, I think, quinacridone I have within the orange tones. So you can see that neutralizes it quite beautifully, and we get some lovely skin tones right here. So that's the across the range, which I wasn't too mind blown. I do like this Viridian, however, I have to say, because it's quite granulating. I like the color of it, and yeah, it's beautiful. So I decided to take it further and actually mix it with other colors that I thought might be something interesting. So I went ahead and I have mixed up a few varieties here. So here I have the Schmincke's Gold Brown right at the top. Then I have Goified by Daniel Smith, so this one here. We have Daniel Smith Ochre Roasted French. Oh, sorry, Roasted French Ochre, and all of these are going to be, the remaining ones are going to be Daniel Smith's, so Schmincke was only the first one. So then we have these beautiful colors. Then we have Sedona Genuine, Deep Scarlet, Burnt Bronzite Genuine, English Red Earth. So some of those really stood out to me. In particular, Deep Scarlet with the Viridian, I find it very, very beautiful. It's becomes such an interesting color that is hard to find already mixed, if you know what I mean. And the English Red Earth also has some pretty beautiful, I felt like could be skin tones as well. So then I moved on and done some further research, and here is what I have. So I mixed it again with a few of the colors that I already mixed. So here we have Sedona Genuine, I've got Lunar Earth, the Roasted French Ochre again, English Red Earth, and Lunar Red Rock. So a few of them are new, and I love the Lunar Earth and I love the Lunar Red Rock because, again, across those ranges there's some really beautiful skin tones you could mix, but also the Lunar Earth does some sort of magic, watercolor magic here with the Viridian, and so I thought that's quite neat because they do separate the two colors quite nicely, and you get this sort of kind of unsettled, beautiful dimension to it. Then I went ahead and I thought, okay, I'll try it with other colors to see what I can get. Hematite Burnt Scarlet Genuine, another very interesting one. Tiger's Eye Genuine, also quite beautiful. Rembrandt Burnt Sienna. Goethite Brown Ochre, I think I mentioned this one in the previous. And then Schminke Yellow Raw Ochre. So these colors are all from my autumn palette, so I just wanted to know for myself as a reference for all the colors that I have in there what would happen if I'd mixed them. I did mix all of the colors, but I mixed the colors that I thought might be something interesting. Then we have here another neat little color palette which has more of the pinks and the purples and all of that. So then we have Shinhan Purple Grey, which I thought was quite neat as well. Naphthalide Maroon as well. Some of them are color separating quite beautifully. Some of the swatches. Deep Scarlet. Now here on this paper, Deep Scarlet doesn't look like much. I prefer it on this paper here. So let's find it. So here is the Deep Scarlet, which I mentioned before, and you can see here it looks quite sort of pale. Aussie Red Gold, and then we have the Holbein Lilac, similar to the Purple Grey, but more on a pastel side. So that's it. I picked out 5 of my top favorite, which I'm going to swatch out today with you, and hopefully you'll find it quite useful to use these in your skin tone mixes or elsewhere. It doesn't have to be skin tones. So basically the colors I'm going to use today are all by Daniel Smith. So Deep Scarlet, Sedona Genuine, Lunar Earth, Lunar Red Rock, and English Red Earth with Viridian. Okay, so let's start with Sedona Genuine. I'm just going to get a little napkin ready here. And so Sedona Genuine is the first one in my second roll, and I'm just going to mix it here. Or swatch it rather. It's a lovely color. It has granulation to it. It has a lovely light tone. But yeah, I just love it. So let's see. Just going to do a few mixes for you. By the way, this is the last page I'm doing in this journal, which means there is a flip through coming soon. So I just add a tiny little bit of Viridian to this, and it has neutralized it immediately. So I'm just going to do one swatch like that. Then I'm going to add a tiny little bit of Viridian again. It was bucketing down today and it was so grey and dull looking outside. And it has brightened up a little bit. So I have lost quite a bit of Sedona Genuine at this point, so I've got colors that aren't really that interesting, but that's fine. I'm going to play around and create different intensities. So now it's going into green, and I'm going to mix in just a pure color here, and we're going to intensify it quite a bit and then go back into Sedona Genuine. So to that I will add a tiny little bit of Sedona, so the color should hopefully start getting a bit more intense. I'm not going to add water because that just makes it liquid and, you know, gets rid of the pigment rather quickly. So I want to have more of the pigment this time. I'll clean up the half pan afterwards, obviously. So we've got a lovely range of colors here. So this would be great for a skin tone. Now you can see the pigment is building up and we're getting lovely colors. I'll try to move the sketchbook this way. So the aim here is to come closer back to Sedona Genuine. I think I will wash my brush at this point and then pick up clean color. And one more. There we go. So that's going to be our range, and it's quite nice because we have the pales and then more intense and then some more towards the green, some more towards the orange. I'm now going to clean off this bit here. And the next color, let's see, we've got Lunar Earth, I'm thinking. Yes, let's do Lunar Earth. It's right next to it. So we're going to do the same thing with Lunar Earth. So I'll swatch it here. So this color, as you can see, Lunar Earth, it's a lot more, how should I say, pigmented. It's a lot more intense and darker. And it has this sort of opacity to it almost, but it's not opaque as such, as it's breaking down the pigment, so it's quite pretty. So you'll see what I mean anyway. So I'm going to do the same thing, just a little bit of the Viridian. I'll be washing out the brush in between. Just to get to that sort of same look. So again, I'll swatch Viridian on its own, and then I'll start going the other way around. So here we go. As the lunar earth is a lot more pigmented, you can see that very quickly you get a color change. So at this point you get these muddy colors, but they will be interesting because it will start separating. So now it sort of has this caramel look to it. And then last one. So you'll see all the beauty ones, they're all nice and dry, but you can start seeing it, I think, already. Okay, now let's go into next one. Okay, let's do next one, English Red Earth. I quite like that color. So let's do that. It's going to be actually 6 by the looks of it. So that one is right here. So I'm going to load it again into the palette. So this color, compared to the previous one, you can see it doesn't give you that, immediate impact. But it does, it's quite creamy, so it's not really hard color. Okay, so I'd say about here we're good. Okay, Viridian again. Touch of Viridian neutralizes it straight away. And then I'm going to keep on adding a bit of it. How are you dealing with the change of the season in terms of the weather? Are you enjoying it or not? In the beginning, it was quite hard actually for me. I was not ready for the coldest season because this year has been so different to any other year. And yeah, I had a bit of blues in the beginning, but now I think I'm okay, kind of starting to embrace that weather with cup of teas and cake and dressing up, and I actually started making an effort with wearing more makeup. I think mentally that actually picks me up quite a bit. Okay, let me change to a different battery that's full